What's up, everybody? It's been a while since I've done an EC book, and I found this one at a comic shop, and I was very happy because this one's kind of one of those that have gone out of print and is getting a little hard to find. Crime Suspense Stories EC Archives, and enjoyable stuff. I love the EC Archives. I haven't got all of them yet. I'm trying to slowly grab as many as I can. I love these hardcovers. They're coming out with softcover versions of them right now, which are a little more affordable, and people are picking those up, but I like the hardcovers. I do. Even though the dust jacket has the same picture, it's good stuff. Now, EC Comics, of course, was one of the best of the 50s. This is Golden Age stuff. You get some introductions here. You get to learn about EC Comics a little bit. And they just had a line of different stuff. They came out with these bi-monthly. And that was it. So Crime Suspense Stories was their sort of crime anthology. And you get a lot of similar stories in here. Now, a lot of people have complained about some of these EC archives because they recolored them digitally. And I didn't have a complaint about the first couple I read, but this one, it really shows on some of it that like some of the digital recoloring just doesn't look right like this. And it's kind of a bummer. But I kind of settled into it. It wasn't as bad like later on. Maybe you get used to it as it goes in here. But there's short vignettes. There's 4 stories per issue. There's usually 3 stories of crime, suspense, and like usually it's like a there's like 2 tropes that are done over and over and over again. One, people who are going to inherit somebody's money, and then they decide to kill the person they're going to inherit, and then of course things go wrong and they don't get the money, or they get killed themselves. Or lovers who are, or husband and wife who are like, I need to kill my spouse because I love somebody else and I'm sick of this man. And then they end up getting killed or whatever too. And there's always a twist where it's bad to kill somebody, which is good. It's wholesome, right? But it's really fun stuff. Like the pacing's really good on all these stories. You get every issue you get a short prose story in between also. And then you get these like nice, like sort of half letters, columns, half like talk about EC Comics. And it's very interesting, like the stuff that's going on in the 50s with like distribution and then people kind of copying EC Comics, and they actually address it in these letters columns. And then the cost of print and things like that. So that's really fun to read. I love that historical stuff through these. This was probably the nicest one out of the first issue. I like the ones that don't have the same tropes because, when you're reading all these together, which they're not really meant to be, you kind of get the same thing stories quite a bit with those tropes, as I mentioned. But this one actually, like, somebody discovers that there's a wealthy gambler who's got money, and he's going to be disappearing for a while. And so he's going to go break into his safe in his house because he knows he's not there from the newspaper. Well, it turns out somebody's in there already and pretends that he's the guy who's there. It turns out it's just a different thief and swindler. And then the different thief and swindler actually gets caught in the end also. Now, cool thing about this, if you like the horror stuff from EC, which is what they're best known for, Tales from the Crypt and all that, the Haunt of Fear actually has a single horror story in the back of each Crime and Suspense, adding to it every single issue. So you get this one of a duplicitous murderer in a circus, and then they get shot through cannons and killed, and then falls off a trapeze because he was getting killed too. And the murderers always get their due, which is fun. This one's pretty dark and pretty, of course, Haunt of Fear. So kind of crazy. You get nice advertisements for harmonicas. Now, EC Comics brags in all their issues that there's only 1 advertisement per issue in them. This one's an amazing story, too. This was about a guy who's in a hospital bed, and he keeps talking about the view outside. And then some other guys, once he gets better, he's going to fry because he was bad, and he's a murderer and all that. And so he realizes, I can just fake being sick still, and then I can escape before they realize it. And I'm going to run out the window because the guy says he's kind of half blind. So the guy says that out the window, it's not that far of a drop. It's a beautiful park outside. Turns out it's not, and he drops to a totally enclosed area where the cops can easily find him. So fun stuff. I'm not going to go over every story. Like I said, a lot of these are just like lover trysts and things like that. But I'm going to go over the ones that I remember that are a lot of fun. Pretty art all the way through. Sometimes the color bothers me, sometimes it doesn't. Really cool stuff. I mean, the art on this level was not done like this on any other book back. I mean, they were in EC books, they were, but if you look at Batman and Spider-Man and all that, they definitely were not done. Oh yeah, the understudy. There's an understudy here who realizes he can take the place of his actor because he looks so much alike. So he threatens to kill his actor, tries to kill his actor, and then he gets run over by a wood chipper by mistake. Oh my gosh. This is a fun one where they're on like a jungle cruise. And another trope that you see a few times is like partners working on a crime together or working on something. They're trying to get gold out of the jungle here. They betray each other and then end up killing each other. And that's one that goes on here. Fun. Beautiful stuff. Look at this art. All the way around, all these stories are solid, even if it's the same, even if it is like, like I said, a trope that's done a couple of times. I really enjoy them anyway, just because the art's nice and there's enough of a difference in the stories and the setups that here's one of those heirs trying to murder somebody, and then they end up killing themselves kind of by mistake. Fun stuff. So this is overall a 9 out of 10 and enjoyable comics. You get 6 issues per volume of one of these, and no matter which one you pick up, they're usually excellent. People veer towards the horror and crime ones a lot, of course. And I reviewed the MD one, which is kind of a weird one, before. But, they really kept up the quality of art. They kept up the quality of storytelling, where all of them are pretty interesting. And it's a good break from, like, superhero stuff, I think. So, highly recommend. 9 out of 10. Good stuff. Crime and Suspense Stories, Volume 2.